In 1973, a gallon of gas cost 38 cents. You could fill your whole tank for less than $4. A brand new Chevrolet Impala, big V8 engine, full size, chrome everywhere, cost around $4,000. Nobody talked about fuel economy back then. Nobody cared how big the engine was. Gas was cheap. Cars were big. Life was good. And then, in October of 1973, everything changed overnight. This is the story of the last great American car, built in the last great year before gas prices ruined everything. Let me take you back to 1958. That is where this story starts. Chevrolet added something special to the top of their Bel Air lineup that year. A little more chrome, a little more style, a little more of everything. They called it the Impala, named after the African antelope, fast, graceful, built to move. Americans loved it from the very first day. By 1964, the Impala was not just popular, it was the best-selling car in the entire United States. Not the best Chevrolet, the best car, period. In 1965, they sold nearly 1 million Impalas in a single year. 1 million families, 1 million driveways, 1 million men coming home from work and parking that big, beautiful car in front of their house. This was not just a car, this was America. Now, the middle of the 1960s, these were the golden years. The economy was strong, gas was cheap, the highways were new, and people actually wanted to drive on them. Car companies competed by making things bigger, faster, more powerful, and the Impala was winning. The 1965 Impala SS came with a 409 cubic inch V8 engine making 425 horsepower. In 1965, that number would be impressive today. Back then, it was almost unbelievable. Let me tell you what driving one of these felt like. You sit down and the seat feels like a sofa. The hood in front of you is long, very long. The steering wheel is big and thin, chrome everywhere you look. You turn the key, that V8 rumbles under the hood. You can feel it in your chest. You pull out onto the road and you are not in a rush. You do not need to be. The engine has so much power that the highway feels effortless. The radio is playing something good. The windows are down. Gas costs 31 cents and your tank is full. Where do you want to go? By 1970, something was quietly changing. Washington was paying attention to car exhaust. Air quality in big cities was getting bad. Studies were coming out. Pressure was building on the car companies. In 1970, the Clean Air Act became law. Now, car companies had to meet emissions rules they had never thought about before. The way they did it was simple. They quietly reduced the power of their engines. They did not advertise this. They did not put it in the brochure. They just did it. A V8 that made 325 horsepower in 1969 was making 245 by 1971. The car still looked the same, still had the long hood, still had the chrome, still said Impala on the side, but it was not the same car anymore. And then came 1973, the last good year. The 1973 Impala was still big, still handsome, still felt like a proper American car when you sat in it. You could still get a V8, you could still get it in beautiful colors. It still turned heads when you drove it down the street. But the people who built it knew something the public did not know yet. The era was ending. Because in October of 1973, Arab oil-producing countries stopped selling oil to the United States. Gas stations ran dry. The ones that still had fuel had lines stretching around the block. Prices doubled, then doubled again. The country went into shock, and the American car industry was never the same again. The 1974 Impala arrived smaller, lighter, weaker. It had to be. Nobody wanted a thirsty V8 anymore. Nobody could afford to feed one. The car that had sold 1 million units a year was suddenly the wrong car for the wrong time. Sales collapsed. The big American car era was finished. But here's the thing about the 1973 Impala today. Collectors know exactly what it is. They know it was the last one built before the rules changed, before the engines were strangled, before America had to start thinking small. A clean 1973 Impala today sells for $35,000 to $55,000 at auction because it was the last of something real. The last car built when American engineers had complete freedom, when nobody was counting miles per gallon, when the only question was, how good can we make this thing? The answer was sitting in driveways all across America in 1973. Big, beautiful, powerful, affordable, and completely gone by the following year. If you remember these cars, if you owned one or your father owned one, or you just remember seeing them everywhere when you were young, then you already know what was lost in 1973. Not just a car, a whole way of life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. There are a lot more stories like this one coming.